Hi everybody, this is Ray, this is Life and Vibe, and today we are going to be following up with the Healing Through Stage 4 Cancer Part 2, Exploring the Options, another episode produced by Jessie Lee Ward of her current journey with Stage 4 colon cancer. And so obviously I did make a reaction to her first part, and so I saw that obviously she had posted a second part, and I obviously wanted to make a reaction to that also. Anyway, if you like this type of content, please hit the like. Please subscribe. I am getting way more views than I am subscribers, but I'm getting a lot of likes along with that. So I would love to have more of you subscribe so that YouTube can see me and push me up the algorithm just to help get some of this misinformation addressed that this person loves to put out onto the social media platforms that are available to her, which are quite a few. She has obviously quite a few followers as well. I am also going to try to be aware of not talking over Jessie Lee. I understand that some people liked it. I just get really passionate last time. And so I will try to make sure that if I do have something to say, I will stop the video and not speak over her. Sometimes she irritates me so much. I promise you. I just can't help myself. So anyway, I promise you I'm going to try to grade this with a number of salt shakers at the end of the video. One being a little bit salty, I felt, by the end of watching this video. And, up to 5, salt shakers, meaning I got extremely hypernatremic. Which is a fancy way of saying very, very salty. So anyway, I also wanted to thank all the comments for and against my commentary. So I love it all. So thank you. Anyway, let's just get started with this reaction, and I will get going.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Jessie Lee, and if you're just tuning in, I am chronicling my journey of my diagnosis of stage 4 metastatic colon cancer, and I am telling you all the details so that you or any of your loved ones who might be going through something like this can learn from it, can grow from it, can maybe not freak out as much as you might from your cancer journey if you happen to be on one, and maybe provide you some information, some insights, some tools, some tips, some tricks, and ultimately just take you on a super transparent journey of everything I've been through, because you start to realize that
I'm already going to stop her there, because can I please caution not to listen to any type of advice this person gives. She has no medical licensure. She has no medical credentials. She initiated her cancer treatments with people who are unlicensed and unregulated. She is not at any position to give any type of advice to anybody. So I just wanted to point that out. And also, she has a tendency not to be very truthful when divulging information. In fact, so much so, I have people commenting on my other videos that they think she is lying, that they don't believe that she does have stage 4 colon cancer. So that just tells you kind of the level of faith that people have in this individual. Anyway, let's keep going.
It's kind of a legacy play that you're on, and you take into completely different consideration when you get a diagnosis and a prognosis as well, which are two totally different things. Life, you realize that each day is super precious, and you realize that time really can stop like that.
Prognosis is what the physician believes is the disease that's causing the symptoms, and diagnosis is actually after you've had the evidence through either testing or lab results or however you're having to gather that information, and you're actually able to give the diagnosis. So Jessie Lee is just trying to use big words, but she's not actually trying to then explain what the differences are. This is again why she's just an absolute, not to be listened to. She just she's going to try to act very smart. I did see this video last night on DC's channel. So say hello to DC. Thank for showing it initially. And thank you at Erin Peace for watching my content. I appreciate it. Anyway, and for the shout out.
You never know. So with that said, welcome to episode 2, I guess. I'm excited to be here on the channel with you, and there are a couple things that I haven't shared with you in my first episode that I want to kind of beep, 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 back it up, and make sure you subscribe and follow along, because these are just a few things I think are very important. So the first thing is, I don't think I really took you through the MRI experience, and for some of you, this might be something that is extremely scary. This might be something where you feel like you're claustrophobic, or what's it going to be like. And I want to talk about my experience at Pronuvo. This is not sponsored. I don't have an affiliate link for you or anything like that, but it was a really great experience.
Is it such a great experience that this is the company that took about a month and just sent you results with some circled pictures that showed possible, disease processes happening inside your body, Jessie Lee? Is that the company? Doesn't sound like great to me. Sounds like, listen to what she's talking about. Promise you, most diagnostic centers do not have all of these things that she's describing. So she's probably overpaid for some type of service through the biohacking BSery.
So I walked in, the facilities were clean, they were new, they were updated. I walked in and there was a really nice private waiting area. The locker rooms were these full locker rooms like I was at a really fancy gym. A snack room, which I didn't eat any of it because it was all like really yummy snacks, like fruit snacks and candies and pretzels and stuff. And the staff was amazing. So I went to the location in Dallas, Texas. It was a good experience. I'd say it was about 45 minutes to an hour. I was just laying there, and you don't fall asleep because they tell you to hold your breath and then breathe, and hold your breath and then breathe, and then hold your breath and then breathe. But it was painless. It was super easy. I was in and out in an hour and 15 minutes, and overall great experience, I guess, for an MRI. And it wasn't scary. I just want to reiterate that because I think for some people they worry about these kinds of things.
Has she had other MRIs to compare it to in the past? She had an ultrasound before, I think. No, she hadn't had the ultrasound yet. I can't remember. She's all over the place. I have a different notebook. Oh, God. She's trying to act like she's so, chill. I think she's been watching some of our content.
And I want to be your friend and let you know, all right? The second thing I didn't talk about was the colonoscopy. Another not really scary thing. So I talked about the colonoscopy, but I want to talk about the prep a little bit. So I was already intermittent fasting the day before. So I tend to do an 18-6 fast.
I've been reading and listening to more registered dietitians about intermittent fasting, and it actually might not be beneficial at all. You have already intermittently fasted throughout the night when you are sleeping. That's why in the morning when you have your breakfast, you're breaking your fast. So you should have already been a good 12 hours without having ate at that point. So I don't understand why people make, go on and on. It's actually probably the way that a lot of people I don't even want to know if she was doing this and now she had the colon cancer. It is a digestive disease with risk factors from obesity, having heavy meat diet, saturated fats, sedentary lifestyles. There's a myriad of things that can cause risk factors for colon cancer, of which I think Jessie Lee Ward has probably hit every box. So I'm glad she's trying to act all nice about this stuff and things, but I think it's just, look at this. She's all right. So she's trying to make up for the fact that she was running around in the last episode acting all mayhemish. All right, Jessie Lee, keep going. I need a sip of tea.
I've been intermittent fasting for 13 years because of Tim Ferriss. Shout out to Tim Ferriss. And I got the phone call probably around 11 a.m. from Dr. Ken Brown asking, hey, are you fasted? And I said, yeah. He said, don't eat. Do your colonoscopy prep. So I would have broken my fast around 1 o'clock. So since I hadn't eaten, it was no problem. And the reason you want to have a fasted state, it's a lot easier than taking colonoscopy prep with a colon full of heavy foods, of big starches, of meat, God forbid. Because if you're not fully digested and you take the colonoscopy prep, you are basically pooping out, I don't know, it would be painful. Okay. So I was already fasted.
Says the lady who used to follow a carnivore diet that was probably backing up behind that 10-inch tumor that was in her colon, or 10 centimeters, or whichever 10 it was. Both would be substantial. So now she's like laughing about it as if she's the queen of, prepping her colon. But Jessie Lee Ward, it sounds like for 13 years you've been pretty negligent towards your colon, actually. I just can't. All right, it's long, so I'm going to keep going.
I was just on liquids throughout the day. And then in the evening, I started drinking the colonoscopy prep. I want to say around 8 p.m. Was drinking it. I think it was little pills. I'll show you the brand. Here's the brand. And then I was taking, I think, one of those pills every half hour. So it was kind of annoying because I was having to wake up to alarms, take a set of pills, and take a second set of pills. And I kind of was chronicling this actually.
If it was something that was going to find a result that could indicate whether or not I had potentially dangerous cancer, which is what she had from, I remember from part 1, results of a test that she had taken, the Gallery Grail test with the biohackers. And I understood too in the past when Jessie Lee Ward worked initially out of school, she worked in a pathology lab. So this is a person who understands colonoscopy, pathology, all of these things. And then she acts as if she's no idea sometimes what she's talking about. So I hesitate, just be careful. Go back to episode 1 if you have to, because I'm trying to keep everything straight here with her story. And it's really hard.
On a TikTok, and then I didn't finish chronicling it and definitely pooped my brains out around 2 in the morning. And I pooped my brains out for about an hour, and it was just peeing out of your butt. But I will tell you, I'm kind of familiar with like that feeling because I drink pure therapeutic ketones, and sometimes I've drank them too fast. If you know, you know. But anyway, so that was fine. I woke up, colonoscopy, got there at 6 in the morning for a 7 a.m. colonoscopy, and again, bedside manner was great. Had a great conversation on entrepreneurship with the doctor, Dr. Brown, and he said, "Hey, let's just get you out of here."
Yeah, that was his Dr. Brown's way of trying to end the conversation, because he really does not want a conversation about entrepreneurship with you. He's got to get on to the next colonoscopy, girl. I thought this was also the one who told you your results and walked you to the call. So, I mean, she sped this story up. So beforehand, had great bedside manner. He gave her the results. He walked her to the call. Now she's trying to tell him about entrepreneurship. Which is it, Jessie? God, it's so hard to keep anything straight with this lady. It's testing my memory.
He was so nice. He said, actually, I won't forget, he goes, "I'm with your brother. I think it's an infection." Anyway, but he was great. We were kind of
Dr. Brown would never have put his license on the line and said that he thought it was of an infection like your brother thought. Yeah, okay, I would definitely need to see the receipts for that one. There's absolutely no way a GI doctor who just did her colonoscopy and probably saw a very large tumor up in there is going to say that he thought that was caused by an infection. She's just full of nonsense. Absolutely. You know what, Dr. Brown, if you really are in existence out there, I would take this lady in for slander.
Goofing around, just chit-chatting, and then you're asleep, guys. So for those of you that are really worried about, oh my gosh, something in my butt, I don't put anything up my butt, you should try it. Just kidding, it's my channel now, so. But for those of you that are scared of that kind of stuff, you're knocked out, okay? And so I woke up, felt like obviously I took a little nap, I wake up, bada bing, bada boom.
She probably felt like she'd had only a little nap because she probably was given propofol as an anesthesia. That's usually very easy to wake up from, and after the person has taken that particular anesthesia, I've often heard when I had patients that I recovered post-propofol that they had had the best sleep of their life. So that's the one that Michael Jackson got in trouble with, if the name of the drug sounds familiar. So I'm probably thinking that was most likely the anesthesia used to anesthetize Jessie Lee for the colonoscopy.
Boom, really easy, nothing slimy, nothing weird, nothing gross, nothing coming out after, before, none of that stuff. And so, just so you guys know, I did hear from Grey's Anatomy that they're not supposed to release you until you fart, I think they said on Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, that's not true. So if somebody told me that, I said, I guess I'll let you know. So that's not true. So I want to tell you about...
I've had people from her downline trying to tell me that she's an expert in health because she's a millionaire. This is an individual who is gathering her knowledge in medicine from watching Shonda Rhimes' Grey's Anatomy. That's just a soap opera about a hospital. They also had extremely large paddles in there, which you would not use to actually use in modern day CPR. There was all sorts of nonsense in that show that really wasn't medically accurate. And this lady is trying to guide people through a cancer journey as she is quoting Grey's Anatomy as her evidence-based practice sources. It's just ridiculous.
About that, and then I want to talk about the CT scan with contrast. So no one tells you about this, but when they give you the contrast, which you saw me in the last video drinking the stuff, they also give you an IV at the radiation.
Julie, DC already called her out for this one, and that is that there was no way that a nurse who has prepped this individual for the CT with contrast would have not given heads up about the side effects that they're going to potentially have, especially if they're extremely common. So every time this person speaks, she just tries somehow to just make some underhanded remark about the medical community while she's drinking garbage ketones, scamming and grifting people out of money in a multi-level marketing scheme that's a dressed up pyramid scheme. It's just nonsense. I have nothing for this person anymore. You know, I'm just going to watch it, and every time she releases this, I'm going to comment. My level of compassion has just kind of reached its saltiness here.
Goes in. So the radiation, it doesn't hurt or anything going in. However, you get a warm flush. And I just want to tell you what that experience is like. CT scan takes 2 minutes, by the way.
It's not special.
So it feels like you're peeing yourself. So everything just flushes warm. Everything is warm. You're like totally overwhelmed with this warm sensation. So just wanted to kind of walk you guys through those because I don't think I talked about it. So by the way, right after the colonoscopy and the diagnosis, that's the first time that I went on TikTok. So now I'm going to kind of jump back in. So that was the first time I looked up colon cancer on TikTok. I know that might sound strange, but I was looking for people who maybe had a similar journey to me, and then kind of realized very quickly, it can get really negative and really sad really fast, and so I didn't want to do that. I did also notice that there's a lot of people with colon cancer that are super young. And then I got kind of frustrated because to get a colonoscopy, unless you have something going on that's dramatic, like you're bleeding out of your butt or something else really crazy, maybe dramatic family history, or you can't pass stool or something like this, 45 years old is when you can get your first colonoscopy without anything predetermined or predisposed or pre-whatever. And so I think that...
Have you been watching my content, Jessie Lee? I feel extremely complimented because obviously in my last videos I cited a study, and I'll cite it down below before, that said that 45 is a recommended age. And now actually if you look at the US Preventative Services Task Force, they are saying the age of 40 is now the recommended age for colon cancer screenings. So you still at 34 years old are young and an outlier. So I just want to point out, once again, she always says she was asymptomatic. She had massive weight loss, because I've gone back and looked at videos of her from just a year ago, and I was astounded at, this looks like a whole different person over here. And I wasn't really familiar with her, except when she was more losing weight. So that would be alarming, but she thinks she was on purpose, but I don't think that would have been it, Jessie Lee. The fatigue that you were experiencing is often a very hallmark sign of cancer. And then the fact that you then go, say you're a health expert, and the first place that you think to look for advice on how to manage diagnoses of colon cancer is TikTok. I'm not even going to say anything as to why that is problematic, because if you don't understand why going on TikTok would be a problem as a source of medical information, then I don't know. I can't help you anymore. I can't help you.
That's really strange, because on TikTok, when I first went on there in February, I noticed there's a lot of young people younger than me, very young. I mean, and then I went on Google, which...
It's because younger people nowadays are obese. There's younger people having diagnoses of diabetes. They eat more processed food. They eat fast food. They eat more meat. They eat a ton of saturated fat. They are sedentary. They sit and just don't exercise enough to actually help manage a healthy weight. It's the level of cholesterol, if you probably did their blood work, it's probably horrific. The probably lack of fruits and vegetables, really good healthy fibers, any of that is probably absent. So that's why people are getting colon cancer younger. I don't know what mystery there needs to be out there anymore. I'm sorry, I can't sugarcoat it for people. I know you want to hear some, drastic thing in the water. It literally is about choices in your lifestyle. Very little to do with hereditary risk factors. Sorry, I don't want to get too salty. Sorry, stop screaming, Ray. Stop shouting. You're only 7 minutes in.
I'm not saying you should Google a bunch of stuff, but I went on Google, and it's the fastest growing cancer by far. So, hello, these need to be moved up. If you want a colonoscopy at 10, you should be able to get a colonoscopy at 10. I don't know, it'd be weird. But if that...
They just moved the age recommendation, Jessie Lee Ward, from 50 to 40. So, I think you once again are showing your lack of understanding about preventative screenings and recent recommendations. Because if you actually went on to the US Preventative Services Task Force, which makes recommendations such as this for healthcare professionals, you would see that the 2023 recommendations state 40, because it is showing up in younger people. So you're talking nonsense, lady.
That's what you want, I feel like, advocate for yourself, because good Lord. But that's also where I kind of started seeing some stuff. And I'm going to do probably my next video going through all of the different treatments and all of the different remedies and all the different stuff that I've done, that I am doing, that I've tried, all this stuff. But I want to actually thank the TikTok community for this, because TikTok... when I made an announcement about it, it was overwhelming with not only support, thank you so much, there's hate messages, but thank you so much in general, and then a lot of really good suggestions, a lot of people about, black seed oil, or a lot of people about castor oil, or a lot of people talking about the Joe Tippins protocol, which I'll explain to you guys, or a lot of people talking about, turmeric and curcumin, and a lot of people talking about crispy cancer, and a lot of people talking...
Social advice like that is absolute garbage and nonsense. Turmeric not going to do anything. Crispy whatever. Google worst place. You don't Google for cancer. This is somebody that people think has answers for health and wellness. As I said in my last video, wouldn't trust her with my life. It just makes me just baffled to I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. TikTok, Google... two places as a medical provider, I would never look for any type of evidence-based practice. It just makes you sound as ridiculous as you always sound. So you sound ridiculous. Can't wait to hear what she tries to say in the next video, which kind of underscores what she's heard me comment about her in this video. Because Jessie Lee, I will debate you on health and wellness any day of the week and these statistics and everything that you are saying. That's misinformation in this video and any other video you try to produce about health and wellness. You're garbage, in my opinion.
Talking about a lot of stuff, and I didn't know about all that stuff because nobody in my family has colon cancer. There's no history of this. None of this is anything I had ever looked up before. I've never had digestive issues, and so why would I know? So I actually want to help thank you guys.
Did your family all drink 13 years of intermittent fasting or do any of the things that you do? Probably not. So that's probably why not. You also didn't look very healthy. I've never seen you look specifically healthy.
Has gotten really overwhelming in some aspects, but I would rather have an onslaught of information than be sitting there feeling alone or feeling like nothing's in my control. And so I want to thank you for that. So that was back in February. So when pathology came back, all the stories, oh my gosh, the things I have to tell you, this is crazy. This is going to sound crazy, but none of this is untrue. So the people that flew down for my surgery, by the way, amazing. I want to get some shout outs. Don Allen came from Florida. Louisa Wixom came from, Louisa Nunez. My bad, she got married like 15 years ago. That's a childhood best friend. Louisa Nunez came from Tennessee. Mateo Taglia came from Barcelona. And Sasha Franz came from, he was actually in the Canary Islands at the time, and he cut his vacation short, but he came from Switzerland. I also flew my father in, and I just want to say to all the people who flew in from places, unbelievable. Thank you for the support. It was amazing. It is amazing. I love all of you very much. So Sasha and Mateo actually stayed here in my house, right here in this room, for an entire month, which is unbelievable. Friendship level on 500, 5,000, 5 million, whatever. But they also went with me to all of my appointments. So they went to each of the appointments that I was referencing in regards to the CT scan. Mateo was there, or when I went to surgery, of course, or when I went to an oncologist, etc. They went to all these appointments with me too. And so when we first went to Texas Oncology, I met with Dr. Stone. Nothing bad to say about Dr. Stone. Please listen to this. I prepped with the Chris Beat Cancer questions. So he has a list of questions that you should ask your oncologist. And it's things that, I'll just pull this up so you can look at all of them while I'm talking about them, okay? These questions...
I have to stop this because some of these questions, well, let me let her try to say it, because these are really rude, and she certainly didn't hold her biohacking people to these same standards, because when she had originally felt that she had a diagnosis of cancer, so she's trying to change the narrative here, because originally she had asked for a treatment plan from the biohacking doctors, and she just said, run it all, do everything, the peptides, everything, I believe in it all. And then afterwards they gave her a bill when they produced all this stuff of about $66,000.